Welcome to Nall or Nuthin. Fall has dropped here in the hills of Tennessee. Cool nights and crisp mornings. Beautiful sunshine this afternoon. We're coming to you live on 101.3 The Buzz, right here in Cleveland, Tennessee, and on our YouTube channel, Nall or Nuthin. That's Nuthin. Be sure to like and subscribe, Nall or Nuthin. So our local teams of the NFL and college football have had vastly different weekends the last 2 weekends. While the Tennessee Vols lost a heartbreaker to Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss at home, and then played hard against Alabama to only get blown out in the fourth quarter. Didn't cover the spread in either game, mostly due to bad quarterback play down the stretch. The Tennessee Titans, just the opposite. Just the opposite. They have knocked off two heavyweights in the NFL at home in Nashville in back-to-back weeks. Started off by beating the Bills on Monday night, and then and put a big stamp on that victory by beating the Chiefs on Sunday, holding the Chiefs to just 3 points. The Chiefs now below 500 for the season, 3-4. The Titans 4-2, and looking like the team we thought they might be before they lost to the Jets earlier this year. So the story for the Titans, it looks like they're on the upward trend with a big matchup against the Colts in Indianapolis this week, an interdivisional matchup. And the story for the Tennessee Vols is not there yet. Just don't quite have the quarterback play to compete week in, week out in the SEC, and really don't have the depth either. But both those games they were in until critical mistakes by quarterbacks in the fourth quarter. Let's bring in our panel. Big Daddy C and Badlands Brandon. Guys, what y'all think? What do you think about the two Tennessee teams, the Vols and the Titans? Big Daddy C, what do you think about those Titans?
Yeah, the Titans are on fire. They started off the season kind of weak, but they're definitely playing good right now.
No doubt about it. I mean, just huge wins, monster wins there in at home against the Chiefs and the Bills in back-to-back weeks. Badlands Brandon's now with us as well. Badlands, Tennessee Vols. They've looked good at times this year, but just haven't been able to beat the quality teams.
Yeah, and I think you summed it up right when you said that the quarterback mistakes, are seemingly haunting Tennessee week in and week out, and until they can get those resolved, they're going to be able to hang with teams, the middle of the road SEC teams, as I like to call it. But when you get to the powerhouse, the Georgia, the Alabamas, the quarterback issues are still going to haunt them. You can't make those kind of mistakes if you want to pick up victories in games like that.
No doubt about it. So different stories in the NFL and in NCAA football in Tennessee. Let's jump right into things here and talk about this World Series. You got the Atlanta Braves, the Bravos, kind of the local team here in my neck of the woods. I'm just 2 hours north of Atlanta, a little bit closer actually to SunTrust Field, which is on the north side of Atlanta. Braves won 86 games in the regular season. They were actually below 500 at the All-Star break, and they were a buyer instead of a seller. Picked up some key players at the trade deadline. Had faith. The front office had faith in this team, and here they are with a win in the World Series. Badlands, are the Braves for real? They knocked off your Dodgers. Are they going to finish this deal out and win their first World Series in 27 years?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they are, and hats off to the Braves for taking down a good LA team, scrappy team at that. And watching the game one last night, I mean, could Atlanta's bats be any hotter? Not really sure because they hit the ball extremely well, and guys like Freeman and Acuna and guys like that. If these bats can stay hot, I think this may end up being a quick series. I know that may not be what the Astros fans want to hear, but just judging off what I saw in game one, if they can keep that pace up, Atlanta's going to bring home a World Series.
What do you think at Big Daddy C1000? Is this the Bravos' time?
Well, I think we can go back and look and find a late March or early April show where I think I picked Atlanta to win the World Series. I'll have to go back and see if I can't find that one, and we'll announce that show. But I wanted to have a big shout out for all those losers that got the All-Star game kicked out of Atlanta. What are y'all going to do now? You got two at least, maybe three home games. You could have a World Series champ and a parade go through Atlanta for baseball. I just want to throw a big shout out to those folks.
Well, that's MLB, and that's the front office. They're protesting what they perceived as voter suppression by requiring all voters to have a valid driver's license to cast their vote. So MLB, in protest of that, I'm sure under heat from plenty of self-interest groups, decided to take the All-Star game away from SunTrust Field and away from Atlanta. But unless they take the franchise away from Atlanta, there's nothing they can do about this World Series because it's heading to Atlanta for 3 games coming up right now. You are right, Big Daddy C. They couldn't stop this freight train. The Braves and the World Series on the national stage, regardless of who may not like some of the particulars in voting requirements in Georgia. All right, let's jump to the NBA. A couple of hot starts. Let's start with the East. The Bulls, 4-0. You guys know I had the Bulls in preseason bets, so I'm happy about that start for the Bulls. The Knicks, the Hornets, the Bucks, all 3-1 in the East. Badlands Brandon, on those 4 teams, those hot starts, the Bucks defending champion. Knicks had a good season last year. Maybe the surprise is the Bulls at 4-0 and the Hornets at 3-1.
Yeah, I think Chicago looks really good early on. Now, I know we're, very, very, very in the infant stages of the NBA season, but just looking at the Bulls and how they're playing, I mean, they are definitely playing like a team with something to prove, and they can keep that momentum up, them and the Hornets both. I think that's going to be an interesting division to watch.
Hornets have really been tough in the second half, all close games, and been able to pull out 3 wins in the second half. They look like they have a lot of grit. Of course, the NBA season is a marathon and not a sprint with 82 ball games, but early on, the Hornets are surprising. We'll see if they can keep that up. Over in the West, the Warriors 4-0, the Jazz 3-0, my Memphis Grizzlies 2-1, and the Lakers just 2-2 to start. At Big Daddy C1000, what about the West? Are the Warriors for real again? Can the Grizzlies keep winning at a 2-1 clip?
Yeah, the Grizzlies are definitely looking good. Badlands was telling me before the show that Morant's averaging 39, leading the league, so that's impressive. But one thing about the West, if the Lakers don't win and win the NBA title, people should never even consider him in the same phrase as Michael Jordan, because the team they got this year, it's unbelievable. I mean, picking up that Westbrook, he's one of the best stats leaders in the NFL, NBA of all time. I mean, he can do it all. Assists, rebounds, points. If they don't win with that team, people do not even need to put LeBron in the same mention as Michael Jordan.
Well, I mean, it's a different time now, a different league now. Back in Jordan's day, there were maybe 1 or 2 3-point specialists on the team, and Jordan could shoot from outside, and then you might bring in Kerr or somebody that could fill up the bucket when you need it, good for 4 or 5 3-pointers on a great night. But now, everybody on the court can shoot 3-pointers. It's just a scoring fest, very little defense. It's really hard to compare those 2 eras. I mean, back in Jordan's day, an over-under for an NBA game was under 200 for the average game, and now we're near 220 for the average game. There's just more points scored. You got to have all that firepower, right? It's different, isn't it, Big Daddy C?
I don't know. I mean, they're different times for sure, but, I mean, look who Jordan did it with. Luke Longley and B.J. Armstrong and Steve Kerr. I mean, those guys, nobody under 40 years old even knows who they are. But look at the Lakers now. They got 3 automatic first-round NBA All-Stars. Those 3 guys are going to be NBA All-Stars just as sure as the sun's coming up tomorrow. I mean, that team is absolutely loaded. If LeBron don't win, nobody should mention him with Michael Jordan, in my opinion.
Well, that is why the Lakers are $1.90 and the lowest favorite I've ever seen to win the NBA championship. There are certainly high expectations for this team. Badlands, Brandon, what do you think? Are the Lakers on cruise control right now and they'll turn it on and gear up for the playoffs, or do you expect kind of a historic total wins type of deal with 70 plus wins for the Lakers this year?
And I mean, I have to agree with at Big Daddy. I mean, he's right. I mean, this is a star-studded team. The only problem I see for the Lakers is when you have this kind of star power on a team. Everybody wants to be that focal point, that the focus person on that team. And when you have that, and these guys just are playing for themselves to pad stats and do all this, you've got to be able to take those star-studded players and put them in a team chemistry that allows you to annihilate anybody you step on the court with. But right now, I mean, it's too early to tell. I think we got to give it, another month to see what they do. But for right now, they seem like they're sitting on cruise control. So, if they can get it into a team chemistry and get it going, I think you might see LA do something this year.
Yeah, there's a little chemistry issue, some snipiness on the bench and different things, but they'll figure it out. And I imagine we will see some long, sustained winning streaks for the Lakers throughout this season. Um, and the debate will always be who's better, LeBron or Jordan. I think Jordan was. I would maybe lean Jordan, but LeBron, he's damn good. There's no doubt about it. All right, let's catch our first break, and we will be right back to go over college football coming up this weekend. You're listening to Nall or Nuthin on 101.3 The Buzz. Welcome back. It's Nall or Nuthin on 101.3 The Buzz. We're brought to you by Cleveland Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, as well as Pure Bath, Body, and Mind. All right, gentlemen, Thursday night, and we know the weekend starts on Thursday. A college game to talk about again, and it looks like those Coastal Carolina Chanticleers are still playing during the week. They played last Wednesday, got knocked off by Appalachian State. Now they try to rebound as an 18-point favorite, hosting Troy, over under 51 and a half. Badlands, Brandon, what do you think? Coastal Carolina bounce back?
I'm going to go ahead and put it out on the line here and say that Coastal wins this game. I don't think they cover the 18 and a half. Coastal at times, so far through this 9 weeks we've had is, in my opinion, look streaky from week to week. Sometimes they come off and they blow the doors off, and then some weeks they come out and they struggle to score, and, the tempo of the offense and just everything just doesn't look good. I like the Chanticleers in this matchup, but I don't like the 18 and a half, so I'll probably take this one on the money line.
Yeah, I like the Chanticleers too. Money line, you're gonna have to lay so much. There's no way. I mean, you have to lay 10,000 on this game. But I might tease them down to -9 in a 3-game teaser and get them under 10 points. I do think they'll rebound. I liked Troy against them last year. Won the bet, getting 14 at home with Troy at the end of the season. I thought it was a look ahead spot and kind of a letdown spot after 2 big games for Coastal Carolina. Got that bet home. Kind of got lucky. In fact, Troy covered back door. I think they're much better than Troy, and I think that they'll prove that tonight. All right, Friday night, we got a matchup, UNLV at Nevada. Nevada a big-time favorite, 20 and a half, 58 and a half. Badlands, I know you've got some interest in this game. Walk us through it.
Yeah, this is a good matchup. I think for me, I've been riding a super hot streak over the last 2 weeks with these parlay games, and I'm going to throw Nevada in one here. Yes, very very hot right now. But I actually like Nevada in this matchup. UNLV is a team that does not do much offensively. I think most of their games they're lucky to score 10 points in. So with this one being at home in Nevada, Nevada does have I think it's like a top 50 total offense. So I'm looking for Nevada to flex their muscle here and really just give it to UNLV. So that's one of my games in my parlay.
Okay. One of Badlands Brandon's clown picks this week. He likes Nevada against this hapless UNLV team, laying the 20.5. Says they're going to get there easy. Let's go into the SEC slate. Kentucky goes to Mississippi State. Kentucky, 1.5 point favorite here, 47. It looks to me like they're begging you to bet Kentucky at Big Daddy C. Kentucky's been good. Mississippi State streaky at best. Who you like here?
Yeah, I don't know. Me and you talked about this earlier. I don't know. It's a tough one. I guess if I had to pull the trigger, I'm probably going to take Kentucky.
All right. And then Ole Miss goes to Auburn. Ole Miss winner at Tennessee. Then comes back in a close game at Tennessee, an emotional game for Kiffin. Comes back and handles LSU rather easily in Oxford. Then they won the overtime game, or the last second game against Arkansas, 52-51 in a shootout. 3 weeks before that, I just think that the injuries at some point have to show up on this Ole Miss team. And they've got serious injuries in the wide receiver and the offensive line. Their quarterback, Matt Corral, has done everything he can do, and he's a little dinged up. Now they go down to the Plains. They face Auburn. Auburn, a 3-point favorite. $1.40 favorite on the money line, and that is one of my favorite pure bath, body, and mind steamer plays of this entire year, not just this week. I love Auburn to win this game. I'm going to take the money line because I don't want them to win by a field goal or less and me not win the bet. I'm going to lay the 140 on the money line. Auburn wins on the Plains. Ole Miss's luck runs out against a decent defense and kind of a rejuvenated Nix, the quarterback for Auburn. Big Daddy C, you were an Auburn fan early in the year. What do you think? Can they knock off the Rebels?
Yeah, I've had Auburn 2 times. I think this year is my lock of the week, and I don't know here. I'm going to ride them with you, and I'm going to pull for you, but I don't know if they're a lock.
Well, they're my lock. I got to have them. Auburn minus $1.40 on the money line. Let's get their war damn eagle. All right. Georgia and Florida in the world's largest cocktail party right there in Jacksonville, Florida on a neutral field. Georgia 14-point favorite, 51's the total. Florida coming off a bye week after losing at home to LSU. Florida's been a tough team to figure this year. They've looked great at times, taking Alabama to the wire. They've looked bad at times, losing to Kentucky and LSU. Badlands Brandon, is 14 too many, or is Georgia going to rock and roll here?
So this is the second game in my parlay, and I've got Georgia laying those 2 touchdowns. And I mean, we all know we've watched Georgia this year. That offense is super, super high powered. You've got the mix of Stetson Bennett and can't think of the other guy. Mine went blank. JT Daniels. You've got those 2 guys, and I think those 2 guys are really, kind of the heart and soul of that Georgia team. And, you've got good, I mean, they can run the ball, they can pass the ball. Florida, I think, is still in kind of a crisis mode with winning or being in some big games and then losing those 2. But I like Georgia to lay the 14 and pick up the win.
There's another clown pick. Badlands Brandon says lay the 2 touchdowns with Georgia. I tend to agree. I think Georgia's going to win. That total, first time Georgia's been out of the 40s in a few weeks, and they've gone under in all those games. Now the total inches up to 51. They must be expecting some points here out of Florida. So, and if that's the case, then you're going to need Georgia's offense to get going this week and not just rely solely on the defense, especially to cover a 2-touchdown spread. SEC a little bit light this week, some decent games. Georgia, Florida, always entertaining. I think Ole Miss and Auburn is a great matchup. I think it'll be a game that goes down to the wire. And then you got Kentucky and Bully. Let's go quickly through some of the other games on the card. Let's highlight this Iowa-Wisconsin game, an early kickoff in the Big Ten. Iowa off the loss to Purdue and losing their top 5 ranking rather quickly. And now Wisconsin, they're playing good ball all of a sudden. Maybe they were a little underappreciated after a poor start. Wisconsin, the 3.5-point favorite a tiny over-under, as small as you'll ever see in college football, of 36.5 at Big Daddy C. Who you like here? Is Iowa going to try to get going again in this second half of the season and make a big bowl game?
Yeah, I don't know. I think their hearts might just be broken. I'm going to take Wisconsin in this one, and I won't lay the points. I'll be taking Wisconsin on the money line.
I like Wisconsin as well. I think Iowa was a beneficiary of a lot of good breaks early in the season, and I think Wisconsin has found their footing just a bit as we are now in the middle of the college football season. In fact, we're well past the halfway point of college football. We're heading into the final third of the season. NFL, we're right at the halfway point. Boy, the football, it seems like it takes forever to get here, and it seems like it goes so fast. Next up, Duke faces undefeated Wake Forest. Wake Forest having a hell of a year for maybe the smallest school in Division One as far as the number of in terms of number of students. Wake Forest 17, laying 17 against Duke. Badlands, Brandon, can you keep riding Wake?
Well, and this will be the third leg of the three-game parlay, and I'm going to load up and go with the Demon Deacons in this one. A light Wake Forest, a team that can really score and do a lot offensively. Don't know much about Duke, haven't followed them too much this year, but just going off what I know and watching the few games I have of Wake Forest, I really like them. I like the way their offense is, a scrappy ball theme. So I'm going to take that as the third leg in this three-game parlay and lay the points with Wake Forest.
Wake's look really good. I had over and under 6.5 for season wins, and they've already got it for me. It's just sitting there in the bank earning interest. I wish it was earning interest. It's not. Waiting for a payout at the end of the season, but that's going to be a winner for your host, Jason Nall, right there. Wake Forest, season total is already over 6.5. I agree. Cutcliffe's time at Duke must be coming to an end. An honest program there at Duke, done a good job. They've had some years where maybe they beat Miami with that crazy play or the kickoff return and all that stuff. But really, Duke not been much of a factor the last couple of years. Wake Forest should continue on the roll. Michigan and Michigan State, two teams in the top 10, two teams that were left to dead before the season ever started. Harbaugh has his Michigan team playing well this year after a horrible season last year. They came in with no expectations, though. Maybe that's what Harbaugh needs in Ann Arbor is no expectations. Now at Michigan State, last year Michigan State beat the doors off of Michigan at Michigan. Is this payback time for Michigan? Will they go into Sparty and lay the 4 points and cover at Big Daddy C1000?
Yeah, they're going to be payback this year. I probably won't lay those 4 points. I'll take Michigan on the money line, but it's their turn to win.
Iowa State knocked off Oklahoma State last weekend. Did not cover the spread. They were a lofty touchdown favorite at home against the undefeated Oklahoma State team. They beat them by a field goal, but they did not cover. Now they lay 7 on the road at West Virginia. Smells like a trap. Looks like a trap. Is it a trap game for them? Badlands, Brandon, can Iowa State go get the win at West Virginia?
I think you just summed it up best right there. If it smells like a trap and looks like a trap, there's a 99.99% chance it's a trap. So I actually like West Virginia in this game. Not real big on it. I know people are probably going to bet Iowa State, but I'm going to flop on this one and take West Virginia in this matchup.
Badlands Brandon says, give me the touchdown. Give me West Virginia. Keep it with you, Badlands Brandon. Miami, Florida, my Hurricanes. I gave them out as my lock of the week last week. The steamer play, they got there against NC State in a must win for Manny Diaz. Now they go on the road and they face Pittsburgh, who just beat Clemson. Beat them handily in the second half. Got to be coming off that big high. You think Pittsburgh can keep it rolling and take care of this Miami squad? Pittsburgh's laying 9.
But I gotta laugh on this one. I've been taking 3-game parlays the last 2 weeks, but this one may just be too good to pass up. So I may upgrade from a 3 to a 4 game. I love Pitt in this matchup. I think Manny Diaz has done about all he can do with Miami, but playing at Pitt at home with that Pittsburgh crowd behind them, I'm not expecting too much from Miami here. If Pitt can jump out early and keep their foot on the gas, Pitt will run away with this one. So I'm probably going to take it as well as my 3 games. So it'll stretch it to a 4 game parlay for me.
Pittsburgh laying 9, over under 61.5. I needed one more touchdown out of Pitt or Clemson in that Pitt Clemson game last week to get my over up. It didn't get there. Pittsburgh certainly has a high scoring offense. If you think they're going to win by 9, you might jump on that over 61.5 because Miami's defense, they gave even in the win, gave up 30 last week to NC State. I like the over 61.5. Chase on those Pittsburgh overs. Next up, let's take a look at Florida State and Clemson. Historically, a battle of the heavyweights. This year, Clemson, off of nobody's radar, having a really down year. Not looking good and can't score points. And then you got Florida State, who has Norvell fighting for his job, and they have won 3 games on the season. So it's really a matchup between Florida State and Clemson that is getting very little fanfare. Clemson 9-point favorite over Florida State at Big Daddy C. Can Clemson even score 9 points?
I don't know. Clemson looked so awful 2 weeks ago. That quarterback, he is awful. He can't even throw, a 10-yard pass. So I would be leaning on taking the under here. I know it's a low one. I thought I saw it. Do you have it in front of you? Is it 42?
47.5.
47. Well, I probably will take the under in this one.
All right. Reasonable. That was the total in the Pittsburgh game, and Pittsburgh is a much better offense than either one of those two teams. So if I was going to go, I would lean under as well with you, Big Daddy C. UCLA, man. My UCLA Bruins are absolutely on life support. They've got to win all but one game to hit my season win total now, and they'd have to win out and get some breaks to win the Pac-12 South. They're at Utah, and UCLA is catching 6.5, so it does not look good there with UCLA almost a touchdown underdog on the road. Utah beat the bejesus out of USC in LA about 3 weeks ago. Going to be tough for UCLA to get that win at Utah. I'm likely to take them, though, and make one last stand with these Bruins, who I know have talent and I know have coaching, but just have not been able to get the wins this year. But give them to me. Give me the Bruins. Give me the 6.5. Arizona, the worst team in the Pac-12 at USC. USC coming off a thumping by Notre Dame, especially in the second half last week. USC laying 3 touchdowns, 21 against the Arizona Wildcats. Badlands Brandon, what do you think? Arizona, are they ever going to win a game in the Pac-12, or is USC just going to roll them?
Yeah, USC is going to roll on this one. I've caught 2 of Arizona's games this year, and I think if we could get 8 more guys, I think we could probably beat Arizona. Arizona is just not there this year. They struggle offensively and defensively. Can't stop people from scoring and can't score themselves. So I figure USC will have a nice bounce back game here and throw it to Arizona pretty good.
Texas Tech goes to Oklahoma. Oklahoma dropped a spot in the rankings this week from 3 to 4. Alabama jumped them with their big second half against Tennessee. Oklahoma was a 39-point favorite at Kansas and found themselves trailing in the fourth quarter. Found a way to win another nail-biter against an inferior foe. Oklahoma seems to play down to their competition. Now, they host Texas Tech, and they're laying 19.5 at Big Daddy C. Oklahoma, Boomer Sooner, you've liked them this year as a big favorite. What about this week?
Yeah, I've played them a few times, but my lock of the week is going to be ride the trend, and the trend is Oklahoma hasn't been very good at covering. So I'm going to take Texas Tech and the points. It just proved last week that Oklahoma plays to their opponent, which was Kansas, which is awful. So I'm going to take Texas Tech and the points and just hope they hang within 19.
Well, I can tell you if they do hang within 19, the Boo Birds will once again be out in Oklahoma. Expectations sky high for this team, and they have yet to perform to it. Give me there's another leg in a 3-game teaser for me. I'll take the 10 points move that Oklahoma line down to 9.5 and say they can win by more than 10. I got 2 legs. Let's see if we can find the third leg. Penn State, Ohio State. Penn State with the worst overtime game in the history of football last week against Wisconsin. Went 9 overtimes, and the game still went under the total of 43. You'll never see that again. In a million years, Big Daddy C, will we ever see a game go under the pregame total of 43, under easily by 9 or 10 points, and go to 9 overtimes? I know there's new overtime rules, but are you kidding me? They couldn't score in 6 straight overtimes?
No, the chances, you got better chances of getting hit by lightning twice. That will never happen again. But as far as overtimes, I'll never forget that time we were in Oxford and Arkansas and Ole Miss went into like 6 or 7 overtimes for me to get my total up, and I needed it badly that night.
7th heaven, 7 overtimes. It was the debut of Matt Jones for my Razorbacks against Eli Manning. I believe when they went to overtime, they were 20-some-odd points away from that total. We got 7 overtimes, and we blew over that total by probably 20-some-odd points by the time it was over. And, man, did we party that night. Oh, Stumpy, our buddy, we need to get him on here one day. Found him passed out by the washing machine in my laundry room the next morning.
Yeah, that was a fun weekend.
It was fun. Anyway, Penn State, they can't score. Their quarterback's hurt. Their defense is now worn out because their offense can't move the ball. Ohio State laying 18.5. How in the god dang world, Badlands Brandon, can Penn State hang with Ohio State, who's really hitting on all cylinders?
I think you just said it. I don't think they are going to hang with them. I think Ohio State cruises in this one. Penn State's probably still tired from that 9 overtime, so I think Ohio State doesn't have any problem in this one. On a relative side note here, and I meant to say something earlier, I really hated to see at Big Daddy take Texas Tech in that one. I wanted him to jump on Oklahoma so I could score some more money off of him. He owes me about 4 truckloads worth of pennies, as he likes to call it anyway. So I was really, really upset that he didn't decide to take Oklahoma in that one.
Yeah, what is the tally between you two guys now? Badlands, you're owed what, $40 worth of pennies?
40. Yeah, $40 worth of pennies right now.
Yeah, pennies. That's right. Bring a truck or a van, because that's what you're getting. You're getting all pennies.
All right, you're not even going to roll them for him?
No, I'm not rolling them. I'm going to have him the Kroger sack.
All right, we're going to close out the college conversation with a couple of big games going on a night card Saturday night. North Carolina goes to Notre Dame. Notre Dame just came off a big rivalry game against USC, handled them easily. North Carolina, anything but impressive this year, came in with big hype and big hopes for their quarterback. They're catching 3.5 at home. Badlands, Brandon, North Carolina, if they have one game in them, I think this might be it. Can they hang within the 3.5 or maybe even get there catching 150 on the money line?
No, I don't think so. I think this is another easy play for me. Probably going to load up and take Notre Dame. And as you said just a second ago, they haven't shown much this year. They had a ton of hype preseason, but I think Notre Dame cruises in this one.
Give me North Carolina. Give them to me on the money line. I'll take the plus 150, try to get 1.5 times my money. I say they win at South Bend. All right, in our last game of the week to discuss in college football, Washington at Stanford. It's a big game for me. Stanford, a 2.5-point favorite. Washington catching 2.5 on the road, over under 47.5. Stanford, their season win total was 2.5. They've already exceeded that. They have exceeded expectations. They have 4 wins, have a win over Oregon, who's a top 10 team. Washington, their win total was 7. They're going to have to work their butt off to get to that win total. They have been below expectations, but I'm calling for the reversal this weekend. Let's reverse it back to the mean. I like Washington to grab the win on the road at Stanford. I don't want the 2.5 points. I want the plus money. Give me Washington on the money line, plus 115 at Big Daddy C 1000. Can I get it there?
Yeah, I like your pick there. Like you say, Vegas is pretty sharp, and if they put out the totals for the win earlier in the year and they're way off, they're probably going to be closer by the time the season's over. So I'm going to ride with you. I'll be taking Washington.
Let's get them home. Come on, Huskies. Need them bad. It's time for our next break. You're listening to Nall or Nuthin on 101.3 The Buzz. Welcome back for the final segment of Nall or Nuthin. I'm joined by at Badlands Brandon. That's his Twitter handle. And you can always catch those hot parlays that he's had the last couple of weeks. He'll post them before they play on at Badlands Brandon. And then our other contributor at Big Daddy C1000. And that's our Nall or Nuthin Twitter handle. So you can catch our Nall or Nuthin picks on at Big Daddy C1000 throughout the week. Tonight, NFL, Green Bay Packers and the Arizona Cardinals out in Arizona. Green Bay missing some key cogs on the offensive side of the ball. Alan Lazard, Devontae Adams in COVID-19 ineligible. So Aaron Rodgers without his biggest offensive weapon and another important offensive weapon plays the 7-0 Arizona Cardinals, who just came off a second half shellacking of the Houston. What's the name of that club in Houston?
Texans.
Texans, thank you. The Houston Texans, the worst team in football. So Arizona pretty much had a bye week. They had to sweat in the first half. They got away with it the second half. Green Bay got lucky at home. Washington got it inside the 5-yard line and turned it over on downs 3 times. Couldn't score. Green Bay gets away with another cover. They've got the most cupcake, fluffy 6-1 record in all of football. They played nobody. They should have lost to Cincinnati. Cincinnati misses 2 field goals in that game. But here comes Green Bay, and they're catching 6.5. This line has moved quickly and swiftly once those 2 offensive injuries or offensive ineligibilities for Green Bay came out. Opened at 3.5, now at 6.5. I love the Cardinals, especially in teasers. I still say Green Bay's phony, and I'll say it until they beat me in the Super Bowl. What do you guys think? At Big Daddy C1000, Cardinals going 8-0?
Yeah, the Cardinals are going 8-0. I mean, those are 2 key losses for the offense for Green Bay. Green Bay's not going to do it. I just don't know. Is Green Bay the team that lost to the Saints, or they the team that's won 5 in a row? I guess we'll see more after this week. But I like Arizona here with the 2 guys that are out. I'm going to try to be a trend breaker, which is not a good thing. I never like to do, but I'm going to be a trend breaker here, and I'm going to try to break that cover streak for Green Bay, and I'm going to be on Arizona.
Well, Arizona on a cover streak of their own. So it's a couple of trends meeting here, so you just got to draw a line in the sand and pick a side. Who you like, Badlands Brandon? Thursday night football in NFL. Great matchup. Aaron Rodgers faces Arizona.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on board with y'all. Arizona goes 8-0. Those 2 big offensive losses are going to haunt them, so I think Arizona covers this one.
All right, we all like Arizona. That means you better watch something else or at least not bet it. All right, anyway, here we go. Miami Dolphins at Buffalo Bills at Big Daddy C. Buffalo laying 13.5. You think they can cover that big number? They already beat Miami like a drum down in South Florida. Buffalo goes easy here?
Yeah, that's my other lock of the week, and Buffalo wins easy. They're coming off that break from last week. Everybody's going to be healthy and healed up, and they've smashed Miami once, so why aren't they going to smash them again? I'm taking Buffalo, and I'm laying the 13.
All right, laying the 13 in Buffalo. Next up, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles at the hapless Detroit Lions. The Lions catching 3.5 after a spirited effort out on the West Coast last week. Philadelphia now lays 3.5, and they got beat by the Raiders. Badlands Brandon, what you see here?
This one will be interesting. Not expecting too much from Detroit in this matchup, so I think this is a pretty easy call. So I'm gonna steer clear of Detroit in this matchup.
Don't blame you. Don't blame you much at all there. Carolina at Atlanta. Carolina got stroked by the Giants, the G-Men in New York. After a 3-0 start, they've certainly come back down to earth. Sam Darnold does not look like the future for this franchise. The Falcons won in London. They had an off week. They won in Miami. They've gotten back to 500. I like them early in the season. I still like them. I'll take them laying the 3 at home against Carolina. I believe they can handle that. Carolina's going one way, Atlanta's going the other. Let's ride this hot city of Atlanta. World Series and Falcons this weekend. Tennessee Titans at Indianapolis Colts. We talked early in the show, Big Daddy C, about the Titans. They're hot. Can they keep it rolling at Indianapolis? Indianapolis a 1-point favorite, total 51.
Yeah, sure. Why not? The trend's your friend. Tennessee's hot. Stay on them. I like Tennessee.
Los Angeles Rams go down to those Houston Texans. The Texans are catching 14.5. They just don't look like they can compete offensively or defensively. Rams, a good football team, got a little bit of a scare last week against the Lions that probably will have them alert and dialed in against the Texans. I'll take the Rams laying the 14.5. That's an awful lot in the NFL, but I just don't think the Texans can score on that defense. And I'll take the Rams to get 28 points in the game and easily cover 14.5. The Bengals are on fire. They just beat the bejesus out of the Ravens in the second half, and now they lay 10.5 on the road at the Jets, the Jets, back to just end the season Jets. The Bengals, a 10.5 point favorite. That's not normal. That's not right, is it? I guess so. This is a new Bengals team. Are they ready to be a 10.5 point favorite at Big Daddy C 1000?
Yeah, that's a good combination. Chase and what's the quarterback's name? I can't think of it right now.
Burrow, Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Burrow and Chase. That's a good combination. Those guys they're on the same page. But yeah, I like Cincinnati here. I'll take Cincinnati.
He likes Cincinnati laying the heavy lumber. Steelers go to the Browns. Steelers not looking too good this year, but they did eke out a win against Seattle and Geno Smith last Sunday night in overtime. Now they go face the Browns, who are without their quarterback, without several running backs, defensive players hurt. Don't know if Jamarcus Landry's back yet. Browns a mash unit, but they're still a 3.5 point favorite at home. They covered last week as a mash unit against the Broncos. Can they do it again, laying 3.5 against a healthier squad in the Pittsburgh Steelers, Badlands, Brandon?
No, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna flip this one, and I'm gonna take Pittsburgh in this matchup. Like you said, Pittsburgh's a little bit healthier, and they're fighting a lot of injuries over there in Cleveland. So I actually like Pittsburgh in this matchup.
I heard that. I do too. I probably need the Steelers to lose because I have a preseason bet on them, but I just think this is probably a rivalry game. Take the points, and the healthier team take the points. I'll go with that. Jacksonville Jaguars at Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks 3.5 point favorite, over under 43. The Seahawks are on the death spiral. They lost on Monday night to the Saints. Jameis Winston looked awful for the Saints. They still managed to win. Seattle had one touchdown in the game. It was a broken play, kind of a fluke play. Got it to their great wide receiver, and he took it down the field. But even with Russell Wilson, I might like the Jags here off the break. Without Russell Wilson, I love the Jags here. They just got their first win over in London, came home, had an off week, a positive way to go into their off week. Urban Meyer, if he's going to have a game plan, it should be here. He was able to really watch those Seahawks in that Monday night game and see kind of how limited they are. I'm going to take the better quarterback. That's right, the rookie. I'll take the better quarterback. I'll take the Jags on the road. That is my NFL steamer play of the week. Trevor Lawrence, Urban Meyer, Jacksonville Jaguars, grabbing 3.5 at Seattle, who I think is on the death march to the end of the season. Pure bath, body, and mind. Steamer play. Jacksonville Jaguars plus 3.5. New England Patriots now heading to the Chargers. The Patriots, they made the Jets look like a a high school team playing on a Sunday against the NFL team. Scored 52, did the Patriots against the Jets, but now they got to go out west and catch a Chargers team that may be a little bit angry coming out of their bye week. Chargers laying 6 at Big Daddy C1000. Are the Patriots back, or are the Chargers going to roll out west?
Well, that was definitely an impressive win last week by New England, but New England's not playing the Jets this week. They're playing the Chargers, and that'll be the difference. I like the Chargers here.
Okie dokie. Tampa Bay Buccaneers go down to the Big Easy to face the Saints. The Saints played on Monday night, got a win, did not cover in Seattle. Tampa Bay has been a covering machine of late, and they are just winning games, and they're winning by plenty. Saints catching 5.5 in the dome. You used to think, man, I'd love to have the Saints against the Bucs catching 5.5 at home, but it's a different world than it was just a few years ago with Breeze gone and Brady in for the Bucs. What do you think, Badlands Brandon? Bucs going to take care of the Saints on the road, or the Saints got something to fight for in the dome?
No, I don't think so. I'm going to steal Big Daddy C1000's line right here. The trend is your friend. Tampa Bay is covering right now. I was not impressed with New Orleans. I actually got bit in that matchup. Had them at laying 4, and they won by 3. I didn't think Jameis Winston looked good at all in that matchup.
He didn't. He looked awful. In fact,
Yeah,
they would have scored
awful.
there in the last 3 minutes. They had a 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line to go up by 10. Go up by 7. Perfect play call by Sean Payton. And Jameis blows the play, doesn't see the open man in the screen play, and tries to run it and gets nowhere, and they have to kick a field goal. He cost us covering that game.
Y'all remember my call? Y'all remember my call at the beginning of the year? Jameis Winston will not be the starting quarterback by the end of the season for the Saints. He is awful.
Yeah, he is. And some people might argue and say, oh, it was raining and, all of this kind of thing. I don't care. He missed, 2 open receivers streaking down the field and overthrew one of them and underthrew the other one. And, I'm just looking at it like, this guy's not it. So to answer your question, no, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers roll in this one.
Okay, well, I'm going to be the one glutton for punishment. I'm going to tease those Saints up in my 3rd leg of that 10-point teaser and get them getting 15.5. So that has them a little more than 2 touchdowns. I'm going to say that Saint Mojo in the dome can keep it within a couple of touchdowns, and that will be the 3rd leg in my 3-game, 10-point NFL teaser. Sunday night, the Dallas Cowboys, undefeated since that loss in Week 1 at Tampa Bay. Very close loss to Tampa Bay in Week 1 on a Thursday night. Now they go to Minnesota coming off a bye week. Dak having some calf issues, and there has been some line movement, guys. Line movement in this game. Dallas was a 2.5-point favorite since early in the week. Was still 2.5 this morning. It's dropped to a pick'em now. Got a feeling Dak may not play with that line movement. The Vikings in a must-win situation. 3 games behind the Packers in division. Even if the Packers lose Thursday night, maybe they could win here and gain 1 game and get it back into where if they swept the Packers themselves, they could control their own destiny. I love the Vikings. I like them getting 2.5. I'll still take them in a pick'em. I think the Vikings win this game at home. At Big Daddy C1000, you like the Vikings or the boys?
Well, I like the Cowboys. I guess it really all depends if Zach really plays or not. But what I was looking at this one, I know it's a big total, but I was kind of looking at the over earlier in the week. So if I play this game, it'll probably be the total, and I'll probably take the over.
Yeah, that's fair enough. The Cowboys have played better defense this year than expected. The Vikings have played defense at times, and at times they have not been able to stop anybody. High total, over under 55, but those standalone games seems to get over. If Dak's in, I would lean over there as well. Monday night, New York Giants at the Kansas City Chiefs, and this will close out our program today. We're going to cover the Chiefs laying 9.5. It's inched down. It started at 10 against these New York Giants, who did get a win at home last week. They did have a win on the road at the Saints earlier this year. So the Giants in spots have been able to play well. The Chiefs just not playing good. Got held to 3 points on the road at the Titans. This is a game that Andy Reid needs to win at home. At Big Daddy C1000 and myself in our survivor pools have circled the Chiefs here and said that we think they're going to win this game. They don't have to win by a point spread. They just have to win for us to stay alive in the survivor pools. What do you think, Badlands Brandon? Bring us on home here. The Chiefs laying 9.5 over under 52.
I think this week you're going to see a really pissed off Kansas City team, especially after being only held to 3 points last week. I think Mahomes comes out with a big chip on his shoulders, and hearing everybody talk about how they only got held to 3 points, I think that's going to light a fire in Mahomes and that Kansas City offense. And I'm actually going to take this game, and I'm going to take Kansas City lane.
Big Daddy C, that's all three of us on these Chiefs counting on a bounce back. Can they get there?
Well, I just hope they get there for the win. Like I say, in our survivor pool, I'm going to play them, and that's all I'll play. I'll just sit and watch and hope they win. That'll be enough action for me. I don't think that's the easiest play of the week. I think it's Buffalo. But like we say, to go further in our survivor series, you got to take some chances. And this is just a game that's set up for Kansas City. If they don't win this, they're absolutely done. I see them just folding after this if they don't get this one back. The Giants are playing a lot better and scored a lot last week, but this game is really set up for Kansas City. And if they don't win here, I forfeit. I give up.
All right. You have been listening to Nall or Nuthin on 101.3 The Buzz. The picks were fast. The picks were furious this week. Go to our YouTube channel. Search Nall or Nuthin, Nuthin. You can catch the recap of this show. Make sure you know who we like and where we stand on all these games we covered. We appreciate you being with us this last hour here on 101.3 The Buzz. On behalf of Badlands Brandon and Big Daddy C1000, it's your host, Jason Nall, and you have been listening to Nall or Nuthin. As for now, we are out of here.